can you hear me? Can you see my slides? Welcome. All right, thanks, Malcolm, Patrick, Ed, Rickster, everyone out there. Hope everybody had a great weekend. Um, let's see, I have the recorder on, and why don't we just get ourselves started here? We're going to have a short week. Disclaimer, trading involves the risk of loss of capital. Make sure that you only have risk capital at risk, and that anything you hear here is for educational purposes only and is not meant as a recommendation to purchase anything. Background, I'm an ex-US Air Force fighter pilot with master's degrees in both computers and business. I've been an active trader since 1998 and a full-time trader since 2009. I use primarily technicals, but I do use some fundamentals, primarily on the earnings side and usually after earnings have been released. I do moderate for hit and run candlesticks from time to time and provide one-on-one mentoring if you so desire. Please check out Hit and Run Candlesticks and Right Way Options, the two sister rooms and services in Hit and Run Candlesticks. And stick around to the end of the presentation. I have a special offer for those of you who are not members. And today we're going to cover, as usual, the economic and earnings calendars, market overview, some trade ideas. Then first we'll go into Q&A on that are not stock specific. And then we'll look at your stocks, only one per person. Tell me whether you're long or short already, and if you're looking long or looking short. But I'll announce that and put in the plus sign when we're ready for that later in the presentation. Economic reports. I don't see anything of import during the market hours on Monday. That's going to affect the trading on Monday. On Tuesday, we got international trade at 8:30. Case-Shiller home price index at 9. New home sales at 10 and consumer confidence at 10. So watch those. They could flip the market around on Tuesday at 10 after the market's open. On Wednesday, we've got durable goods, GDP, and jobless claims all out at 8:30. At 10, we've got personal income, pending home sales at 10 as well, and the petroleum report at 10:30. I don't see nat gas listed anywhere on here. It usually comes out on Thursday, but I don't trade it anyway. Chicago PMI 9:45 on Friday, and Fed balance sheet, and we have a half day on Friday early closing. Right. And one thing while I'm here, and I remember it, I suspect that we'll get a little bit of trading here on Monday, Tuesday. Some people will probably either skip Wednesday or skip out early, and some people won't even bother to show up on Friday. So if they took Wednesday off, Friday off, they could get a 5-day weekend. People could take a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and a lot of people get Friday off anyway, and they could have, 10 days. So be careful. One thing that this is, and I will point that out, is that this is a seasonal trading period. Seasonally bullish from last Saturday through the 10th of December. All right, earnings. Only one before the bell on Monday is Jacobs Engineering. Check. Those highlighted in yellow are those that have over 10% short interest. And let's see, we've got, I guess, Abercrombie, Dick's Sporting Goods, Hormel, Guess, GameStop, and BMW. BMW looks kind of interesting, but very, very light earnings week for this week. We're out of earnings season, and we probably got another 3 or 4 weeks before we get back in. Okay, let's see here. do a quick market overview. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. The markets. Let me see which one's the markets. Okay. I have the S&P here. Let me go on over. I'd like to cover oil first. We're pushing up against the 58 and backing off just a little bit. You can see the stochastics RSI is getting up towards the higher part here. I wouldn't get all that excited. We are at a volume at price level here and a prior level of around 58 to 58.50. Was a little, well, maybe 59 and a half up here. Was a prior swing level. So right now we're in a very gradual climb higher, grinding higher, and just kind of bouncing along. As far as gold, I'm going to back off to 6-month chart here. You can see how we are in solidly in this channel. We go down to the top, pull back to the bottom, go back into at least the middle. We're now starting to kind of roll over here. My stochastics RSI says we still have a few more days to the downside or sideways. Gold doesn't excite me much right here. Now let's go back over to the S&P. I'm going to zoom in here. We're gapping up a little bit here on Sunday with the opening. Stochastics RSI coming off the bottom. Let me see. There's one other thing that I want to pop up here while we're here on the S&P, and that's the T2122. That's the 4-week high over 4-week low ratio. That's basically a month. We're in the pullback zone here. We can stay in this pullback zone for a while. Well, sorry, we're not. We're up here at near the highs. We did a pullback, and we pulled back down to the 30s, and now we're back into the mid range. Every time we get up in here, like we did 2-3 weeks ago, and we had a divergence where we had the S&P 500 making new highs, and fewer stocks driving that move higher. That was a caution, not to say get out, but to be careful that exit stage right at the first sign of weakness. We had that a little bit here on the last couple days of the week. All right, let's take this down. Go on over to the Dow. Dow looks an awful lot like the S&P here. So I basically say they're pretty much multinationals are made about the same. NASDAQ, they're not getting as much of a gap, but then we didn't have as much of a pullback here. Stochastics RSI is also telling me we're probably going higher. That would be the odds. Russell still not getting a whole lot of oomph. We didn't pull back. We went sideways here. Didn't pull back a lot. So we're just kind of meandering along, and stochastics RSI is not helping me much to kind of figure out direction. So we'll have to see which way that one blows. VIX down below 13 again. We spiked up a couple of times. Was it Wednesday and Thursday, and then pulled back on Friday. Not a lot of fear out there in the markets. All right, let's go back to the presentation. All right, let's look at some trade ideas here. Daily. I'm going to go over longs first. They're in alphabetical order, so they're not necessarily in the in any kind of other order other than alphabetical. One I like here that's a roundabout breakout, but only halfway is. Yeah, it still has over 10% to the 200. So this rounded bottom breakout, Nice good J hook as well. I like the move here, and to go up and probably retest the 15.75 to $16 level, and maybe even higher. And the stop would be obviously under about 13.75. FOE, another rounded bottom breakout or wannabe. Looking for a retest of this high volume spike here at 13.75, and the stop would be probably under Friday's low. Again, I would need a buy signal on all of these on Monday, so I wouldn't say that you just go blindly in there. Give it 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes on Monday before you jump in. Make sure it doesn't get a gap and crap. Lionsgate, LGFA, round and bottom breakout. We're just kind of hugging the 50 here, so this one, I think he's probably going to have to get over the $10 level, and then maybe 11.75 would be the first target. We've been watching Loco, seeing if it could get out of this little trading range here and break out. And potentially, the high could be up here at 18 something. Yeah, Johnny, the ones that are going up have a plus next to them. The ones that are going down will have a minus in front of it. Lift. Lift looks like it's trying to lift up a little bit here. It would probably be a round bottom breakout if it had 200 days of trading because it's going down. Maybe 51.50 or so. Looks like it might be a player. This one's good. This will be pretty tough. The toughest part is where do you put the stop? I'd have to say if I can't live with a stop of 45.75, it's way too far down. Okay. NTLA. Biotechs have been very, very hot lately. This one is really no exception. I think she goes up here to about 17.25. Nice good balance of power here, and it's moving up at about a 45-degree angle after this high move here. Maybe a little bit late in the cycle, but if people are jumping into biotech stock, maybe one to think about. SeaWorld Entertainment, about 30.75 we're sitting at. And 32 to 33 could be the target. Decent balance of power, but not great. But we do have this change of character here. It doesn't report again until February, so this move up on earnings and now kind of consolidated for 3 days, and then Friday started to move higher. So I'd make it get over 30.80 or so. Univar Chemicals did a breakout, high volume, may have been on earnings based upon the next earnings date. Did a pullback to the breakout level of 22.75 to 22.80, and looks like it may be trying to resume the climb back up. Good balance of power. Stochastics RSI is coming off the bottom, but it's made a poor attempt about a week or so ago, so watch out. Another one that is heavily influenced by the industrials is URI, United Rentals. I'm seeing URI between, say, 156.5 and 169, 170. There's targets. Okay, when we do a breakout here, Stochastics RSI is curling back up off the bottom, but the balance of power weakened after we ran up so high. Wyndham Hotels, WH. Anything move up or about 57.25, we could start attacking this high 50s, $60 level. I'm going to jump down here to ZBH, Zimmer Biomet, medical device company. Pulled back to the original breakout level area around 142.50. And looks like it may be trying to make another move higher. I'm going to point out two that I'm not necessarily thinking about. These are ones to trade. XLI and XLV. The industrial sector, if you've got TC2000, click on this component watch list, and then what I normally do is I'll start looking, and I normally look at the highest cap ones and see what's happening, and run through those and see if there's anything that's kind of strikes my fancy. See, like Lockmart is in the potential J-hook pattern. GE has been pretty strong here. The members in the Right Way options room have been long for a couple of days now, Thursday, Friday. Using options, obviously. 3M, no. Raytheon. And so you're seeing, get the idea. And then XLV would do the same. You could either go with the ones with the most change on the day, like Biotech, been hot, trying to recover from that little dipsy doodle, or you can go to market cap and look at things like J&J, which did a breakout here. United Health, which has been very, very strong. Medtronic looks okay, and you can get idea. Amgen's been strong again. Biotech. So what you can do is find of the X sectors, find which ones are the strongest, look at their components, and see if there's anything in there that looks like a good trade idea. Okay, let's move on to shorts. Kind of hard to find any really decent shorts out here with the market en fuego the way it is, but I found a couple. Activision Blizzard doesn't report till February. I believe we had the report here around a week or so ago. Looks like it did a move down to the 100 period moving average and move back up to the 50, and anything below about 53 looks like a possible short. First target would be 51.5, and the ultimate target would probably be the rising 200. Coca-Cola Enterprises, those in the room could be short with us already, and it looks like it still wants to go lower. Let's see, where does it want to go? It could want to go into the 48s, maybe the 48.5 to 48. So it looks like it's a little soft here. Church and Dwight, harsh move down, a feeble reversion to the mean bounce. Potentially with a good rollover, we could go down to this level here, 67, and even possibly lower. What we're probably running into is the tops of these buyers over here to the left. But there is an outlier right here, this high volume spike down around 60 to 60 and a half. So with a longer dated option, potentially that could be a player. Like I said before, I am not necessarily a bull right now when it comes to gold, or the same thing would be for GDX and GDXJ in a solid downtrend here, and also DAXJ. Omega Health, OHI. These are healthcare facilities. It's not a care provider. It looks like it's already lost this $41 level. 40 to maybe even the area I've drawn here around the 200, but it's where we had the breakout level before back in August. We could be heading down to there. And last one on the shorts is XL. Strong move down, kind of a sharp move up, reversion to the mean, and kind of went sideways. This one could go either way. If it gets above 62, all bets are off for the shorts. Shorts probably got to get below this area around 60 to 60 and a half. It's probably going to wobble somewhere around the 200, but the 200 is not, I would say, any major moving average is not necessarily a support level. It may act so temporarily, but if you don't have price at that level somewhere, it's probably not going to hold. It's only going to be temporary. Okay, let me get back over to. All right. There is 60-day trial offer for those who are not members of either Hit and Run Candlesticks or Right Way Options. You can get a 60-day trial for $49, less than $25 a month. That's basically less than the trip out to eat with a decent tip for the host or hostess. And you get 2 months to see to try it out. Most of the people who come in there are serious about it. They get their money back in spades. But I'm a little prejudiced. But I found this room in 2009, 2010, and I'm not going anywhere unless they force me out. If you want to follow me, I'm on StockTwits at StockTwits Top Gun Trading, or on YouTube at YouTube Top Gun Trading. I will post a copy of this video up on my YouTube page later this evening, if you want to. And I do also have a number of other videos out there specialized really in maybe day trading earning stocks. Probably not such a great time to do it now, or trading around earnings, trading around gaps and goes. Take a look at it. And I also have out there some of my favorite patterns that I've got going out there. And there's 2 presentations, one the day trading patterns and one is on swing. Both of them use basically the same types of patterns, but I apply them a little bit differently. All right, I'm going to open up for general questions. This is not stocks. Don't post any stocks. If you put them up, I will ignore them. Oh, no, I was trying to be humorous too in reply. No problem. Do you guys have any questions on either something you saw on my charts or the settings, how I use any of those indicators? Now, again, the number one indicator that I use is price. Everything else is delayed, lags. See if anybody's typing away here. Oh. Patrick asks, is there a certain trading pattern that traders together have agreed? Are you talking about there is no one pattern that everybody on the planet has agreed to? I can tell you that most of the people here agree with one of them would be the J-hook pattern. And let me go back over to the longs here. And there's a J-hook and an inverted J-hook. That is my favorite pattern. And basically what that is, and let me change the color to this puppy so I can mark it, is a strong move up, followed by a pullback, followed by a curl back up. Now, the traditional J-hook is not a J-hook until it gets to the swing level here. I don't normally like to let them wait that long. I could call it a J-hook pattern forming or whatever they want. But the reason this is my favorite is I get an early entry, I have a target level to shoot at, and I have a very tight stop. What else do you need? I'm going to get an early indication if it's not going in my direction. I can get out. With low commissions now, everybody can do that. When it gets up there to that target level, and you talk about exit strategies, who was that guy? Steve F. You were asking about what a general strategy. When I get to a support or resistance level, whether I'm short or whether I'm long, I usually take partial profits. Then, if I take partial profits up here, how far would it have to drop if I went long? Let's try this again. so where we can actually see it. If I went long here, and that's my first target, and we get up to here, I put that money in the bank. It has to go that distance the other side of when I went in before I have a losing trade. If I can get up here to my first target, I have a guaranteed winner because I can start raising my stop gradually and give it a little extra room on that second half. All right, let's see. General, I'm going to expound upon that, but generally the exit strategies are watch for resistance, and if you're short, watch for support. And let's see the shorts. What do we have here? All right, right here, Church and Dwight. That's a support level. That's target 1 for me. All right. YS, could you please explain price action? Well, price action is basically where you get, I guess that's kind of a catchphrase that everybody uses, but what they're really talking about is forming patterns or moving up to resistance levels or down to support levels. That's what I think they mean. At least that's what it means to me. You might want to ask a number of other people what their definition of price action is, but that's what I use. And Malcolm says he uses pop out of the box, pullback opportunities, and a 3/8 trap. You want to know a little bit more about them? Doug Campbell in Right Way Options has some videos that he has out on YouTube. You can check those out. Christine Lee is sort of awesome because oh, great. Christine, the idea of recording, that would be an idea, but if we recorded from 9:30 to 4, you're talking about 6.5 hours. Would you be able to stand listening for 6.5 hours to find the 1 or 2 tidbits of what we normally try to do is we summarize those in our segments that we post to YouTube, or Doug. We have our weekly members or public e-learning on Tuesday evenings, and Doug twice a month has his e-learning, and he also has a lunchtime 11 to 1 ish time where he goes over, and it's kind of a learning time. But we've got a lot of stuff, also learning stuff posted to the website. You're not going to probably get any, I don't think, any trade ideas if by the time you got it and reviewed it later, it's probably not the opportune time to get in. So what we're really trying to do is you're trying to educate yourself on recognizing a good pattern and taking action, setting a good stop, evaluating before you get in, evaluating whether the risk and reward is there. So I think we actually do that pretty good. Do you have a scan for TOS that you can pass on? I don't scan in TOS SP, so no, I really don't have any. Maybe some others do have some. Does Rick find indicators such as RSI or MACD helpful in conjunction with RBB? You may want to ask him, but I think the answer is no. Now, I use it on RBB patterns, but I am not Mr. RBB. Rick is. And right at bottom breakouts. And let's see if we got any there. These are right at bottom breakouts. And you see how Yext is trying to come up off the bottom on the stochastics RSI. I'm basically looking at stochastics RSI. All of these. This looks not bad. There's where Lionsgate came in. Right about a breakout, stochastics RSI for me. That's what I use. All right, Dave T wants to know if there's a place to learn how to write scans for TC2000. Well, um, we actually share a bunch in our trading room, but the TC2000, the Worden Brothers on TC2000.com, I believe they have tutorials on how to create those. It's beyond the scope of this webinar and presentation for me to actually teach it, but I would try TC2000.com. Let's see, can I come over there? Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? No. All right, let's go up here. There's free tutorial videos on charts, watch list, layouts, sorting. Don't even bother with the basics of trading, I don't believe. You could probably go over here to the support side. Nope, that's not it. Where did I find? They used to have an area, a forum. Maybe it's under Worden Brothers. Yeah, under discussion. And try in here, and you could try some scans, do a search. And they may already have, whoops, sorry about that. I missed the thing. You could do the search here and maybe search for a different kind of pattern you like. For discussion tab on, was there one in, well, I know there's one. I don't see a discussion tab here on TC2000, only in Worden Brothers. Okay, hope that helps. And yes, it is an art, and it takes a lot of effort. Come on in, join the room. We'll be happy to share some of the best ones that we've got. I use OCam Free Recording Premium. Okay, Sandy, thank you. Rickster has a question. After ending a trade, you have a stop. How would you handle at the open and gap below your stop? Well, if it's a stop, it's a stop. Now, there are a couple of different stops that I use, Rickster. One is a hard stop, and it hits that, I'm gone. And one could be a soft stop. Now, what I normally put for the hard stop is kind of an emergency. When I'm not sitting here watching the markets, it's if it gets below this, I'm out, because it's usually a catastrophic event. It doesn't mean that it's forever distance away, but it's a little bit further than I would probably give it if I were sitting there watching it. And on, let's see, like for Lionsgate, if it started to move up, and I was, let's just say, let's find one that I'm in. All right, I'm in IR. All right, I got long over here on this day right here. None of these gaps and move downs got me out. Why? Because I'm still trying to let it close the day. My catastrophic number is around 127.50. So this would be my stop that I have in there that's hard. It goes below 127.50, I'm gone, regardless. But I'll manage to stop maybe a little bit closer to that, like 12.75 or maybe 128, something like that, if I'm actually watching it. But you're right. They can do rate stops at any point in time, especially in a bull market, in a bull run, not necessarily a bull market, but in bull runs, we normally gap up in the morning, gap down in the mornings. They'll try to do some little raid stops and then they close up on a day. So you're right to be concerned about that. There are a lot of pieces to learn. Right. SB how it made, but I've never received trade recommendation. SP have Ed the let's see the app, the HRC trading app. Do we know where? I don't have it to hand, but you go into the App Store, whichever one you use, and search for either Hit and Run Candlesticks, I believe, or HRC is what I think I have it listed as. And I'm getting those real time. HRC trading, yeah. Okay. And you'll get those on your phone. But the deal here is for us to educate you on how to find them yourself. To be in the room necessarily and to get those. You can't go to the chat room to get those. Okay, cool. And I understand. I used to work in a vault. I couldn't get online to the internet except before I went in to the vault somewhere between 8 and 8:30 in the morning. And I could get out at lunchtime and see how things were going. And then adjust any stops I needed to. And then at the end of the day, after the close, I could never do anything other than one-time check during the day. So I understand what you're saying. But the whole idea for us is to teach you how to find how to find those on your own and then get in. And one of the things you can do is if instead of waiting and trying to follow any recommendation that we've got, the recommendation should probably be nothing more than, hey, we have a setup. What was the on November 22nd, there was a trade idea on Bank of America that came across HRC trading. Okay, so we're in here. So what you do is say, well, what do you think it is about that pattern? And learn and say, when I see that pattern, I know that Doug liked it, and Steve liked it, and Steve liked IR when he saw it coming curl back up here. Let's see, what else did we, trying to think what we had during the, United Health. I saw this thing move up here and it moved to a 45-degree angle. Once, when I saw it break that, get up against this 256.5 level multiple times, kaboom. That was the time to go long. So what you do is you try to find the patterns and you try to find them if you can't be in the room and talk to us live. The HRC trading app is probably one of the better things, but I would strongly discourage people from blindly following anyone. I don't care who they are. All right. Richie S. wants, when you see a chart, what do you first try to see? Support or rebounds off the trend line? And okay, Richie, good question. I don't use moving averages except to visualize the trend. Now, some people use the 3/8 trap, but what they're really doing is they're helping it as kind of training wheels to recognize the fact that we're pulling back and we have a pullback opportunity. You're welcome, SP. So the whole idea here is when I saw United Health, and I'd already had it marked up a little bit with 256 half, but back over here, I had it marked up that these highs over here are around 272.25, and I expected right in here that it was going to run into resistance. It did on day one, it did again on day two and closed there, and now it's kind of grinding higher up and to the right. And I suspect that over time, this one will try to float up to 286.25, and I'm going to go to a 3-day chart, and that's where the next swing is. you'll find that I am I'll say price action guy. I watch price, and price being support and resistance. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Georgia would great members area of the site had one place to find a customer. Yeah, George, none of us use TC2000 for scanning intraday. I do use it on weekends and after hours, but during the day, I don't really try to come up with a lot of new ideas during the trading day. In the morning, I'll look at them late morning and through the afternoon. I have found that my trading is, I make money in the morning, and if I'm not careful, I'll give a lot of it back in the afternoon. So what I attempt to do is trade those that I've already had plenty of opportunity to look at overnight or before the market kicks off, and then I have those 5, 10, 15 top ones, see which ones move, narrow it down to 5, and try to watch those and step through them. And if I don't find anything in 15 minutes, I'm going to get something probably off the LTA scanner. And if I don't get it by then, it's probably not my day to be trading. So I have learned some simple rules that keep me from killing myself and killing my account. All right. You're welcome, George. Okay. All right. All right. One symbol only. Let me know if you're long already, short already, or looking to go long or short. And we've got 160 people in here. I will do my darndest to get through as many of them as I can, but when I reach my time of useful consciousness, we'll call it a night. All right, Kevin wants to look BMY, and I assume that he wants to do a long. Two problems with BMY right off the bat. Doug would say a no-no because we're below the volatility stop. We pulled back kind of hard, and we've kind of wobbled here. We gapped down on very, very high volume here, and the balance of power is negative. I would want this one to probably climb up above 58 before I went long. XPH. XPH did a breakout on Friday. Where could it possibly be going? Watch out for 40.55 on XPH. It is an ETF, and what I would do here, we've got TC2000, open up the components, and maybe let's see which ones percent change on Friday. See which ones look like they're pretty decent here. Nectar looks decent. Again, biotech. I would expect a lot of biotechs in this. Cara kind of late to the party there. Very late on Jazz. I would think a lot of these are going to be late to the party type. Horizon Pharma, not bad, but it already came back up to the swing level. Pfizer might have a little bit left in it. But that's what I would use the X sector ETFs for. Not necessarily a way to get in, although it's probably going up here to 40.55. I don't see, where would your stop be? If you went long on Monday and it was at 40 and didn't pull back, your stop's going to be a long ways down. Even using an hourly chart, where the stop's got to be below 39 and a quarter. Excuse me. So it's a long ways down. The reward to risk is not going to be there. Alyssa is looking at Fitch, Farfetch. This one's been, what does it report? It did gap up on earnings. and gapped up to here. First level is right here around 1030, which is where it stopped on the gap up. That's probably where it goes to. You may get sellers again around 10 and a quarter. Probably again at 12. This is not my favorite pattern there, Alyssa, because it's been in a downtrend. And if you look at the EMAs, it has not dramatically changed the downtrend. It's kind of grinding higher. If I look at a 3-day chart or a weekly chart, those don't look bullish to me. If I would flip that over, that Fitch chart would look like, instead of like this, if I flipped it over, it would look like that. And that would look like a bull flag. So, yes, the daily, it's trying to go higher. I personally, that it's gone too far to get a good reward to risk ratio for the moment. And I don't like to trade those patterns. And no, I don't consider it early J hook because of the overall context. So the answer is yes, this is a J hook. There, and there. The problem is, what else happened before over here to the left? This concerns me a lot. This is acting as a cap at about 12 to 12 and a half. And that's my first target is 10. I'm already at 968. Now, on Friday, if you jumped in at 944, it might have been a different story. Because then you have a chance to go up here maybe about 62 cents or so with a stop, let's just say under the low of the day. Still 20 cents. Yeah, that probably would have worked. Right now, the reward to risk is not there. We're a day late and probably about 50 cents short. Okay. John Janko, long Intel. Intel's fighting AMD, and it's got lots of money and it's investing in R&D, but it's behind in the enthusiast market, if I would say that. It still has the vast and lion's share of server market. Again, these are all fundamentals, but they're losing out on the server market with more adoptions by AMD EPYC servers. So over time, unless they can get their act together, this one's one to be careful of. But the chart is bullish. Now, the daily chart, hard to read. 3-day chart, ooh, I see these 3 or 4 days where we're topping out around 58.70. Where is that lining up with? Over here on the left, prior swing levels. You line up on the weekly, same thing. So when you're looking at a stock, look to the left. I strongly urge people to look at a 3-day chart and maybe even a 5-day chart, which is a weekly. All right, I wouldn't go long Intel here. JM wants to look at Canopy Growth. Canopy Growth still in a downtrend. The move up to the 50 was a reversion to the mean trade. We have had a significant change in the balance of power, but we have yet to see a break of the downtrend. This downtrend, I'm going to use the 50. I know that Ed doesn't go long on anything below the 50, and in this case, I'll agree with him. What I really want to see is, whoops, there we go. I want to see stocks moving up, forming a higher high, so above the prior high over there, come back, form a higher low, and then make another high. So this is an A, B, C, D move. It's a 4-step move. Well, what do we got going on here? There's the low. There's the high. It's an equal or higher high. That's okay. Now I'm going to see where does this make another low. Let's just say it makes it around 1825 or so, maybe 17, and it starts to go up. And when it breaks out above this level, it's probably a candidate for a long. I'm going to need to see two things. I'm going to need to see a bullish buy signal of some sort. Breakout could be one of them. And I'm going to need a good reward to risk ratio. And that one's going to be a little tougher, because this level up in here is going to act as resistance, but also these levels, I'm pulling it off of these stuff here in August. That could act as a resistance around 24 to maybe even down to 23. So, going to be tough. That's why I like stocks that are in uptrends. It's a lot easier. Patrick's looking for AMD for a long. AMD is cooking with all cylinders. We had a doji here on Friday. If we get up over that doji, say over about 39.80 or so, I would say that it's worth a shot. You would have to probably put a hard stop below this 38 to 38 and a quarter level. The hourly hasn't broken the downtrend. That's why maybe $40. And then when you get 40, you got $1.50, and 1-to-1 reward to risk. It's going to be tight unless you trade the 60-minute chart. It's going to be tough. It looks good. The pattern looks good, but the way I'm calculating the reward to risk is not quite there. It's 1-to-1. I'd love to see about 1.5 from my entry to the first target. At least 2 would be better. Joe wants to look at AK Steel. Why? Let's look at this one. I'm going to look at this on an area chart. Now this is a weekly chart, and I notice I've got lots of different views of the world. But when I see a mess like this, I'm going to stay out of it. Now it may turn around, but I'm not trying to pick the bottoms. I like to get my half out of the middle. I'm from Texas. I hog the highway. I take my half of the highway out of the middle. I'm not from Texas though. Anyway, the whole idea here is let it prove that it could earn your money. And right now, let's go to a 3-day chart. Still kind of in a downtrend. Go back to the one. We already looked at the weekly. Look at the EMAs. Notice how it's just kind of wobbling along. This is not the kind of stock I want to put your money in. And the other thing, it's a $2.50 stock for a reason. Stocks are not below $5 and $10 in this market for a reason. Now, back in 2008, 2009, a lot of stocks got down to penny stock category, below $2, and they were good companies. But we're not there anymore. We've been on a 12-year run. So I would strongly suggest that you don't look at stuff below 5, maybe even 10. I know that people are saying, well, I need to do that. In the old days when we had to make money to cover our commissions, that probably worked. Now you can trade 50 shares of anything, or 25 shares, or 20. You can trade Amazon. You could trade Intel. Heck, I mean, it doesn't matter, because you only need to make enough money to be profitable. The commissions are not there. Okay? CB says long Z. I'll assume you're already long. I got bumped out of Zillow on this. I think it's the down day here. We went back below 39, but I got back in. I made a little bit of money on the options, but not enough. It does look like it's headed to 42. This 42 area is going to look like a tough nut to crack. Eventually 46 is probably going to be in the cards, because it has 24% of the float short that it has to work off. Good trades. Hang in there. Move your stop up. If you haven't taken partial profits, do so if you can. Richie said he went long the SPX at the close on Friday. I almost jumped into some SPY calls, but I didn't. I would stay long. There's nothing telling me that the S&P. This is an hourly chart. We pulled back. Now, what would it take? Man, probably under 3,100 or so. Now we do have a little bit of overhead resistance to get through. Let's go to spiders. There's a 60. There's a 30. We did kind of recover a little bit, but I'm going to mark up this area right in here. This is the reason that I didn't go long. As I was looking at this, we already bumped it once. I didn't know what the weekend would bring. Now, we're probably going to gap up into that. We're up. The S&P futures are at 3120. To say that, we're going to probably gap up into this area. But watch out. Give it 5 to 15 minutes at the open and see what happens. Yeah, pretty good trade there, Richie. It worked for you. Glad that. UCTT. But you didn't tell me, Carol, whether you're looking at a long or a short. I'm going to assume you're looking at a long. Good balance of power. Good pullback. We need a bullish sign. We need a buy signal. And I'm going to use the quad lines here for potential pullback. There's 50% of that move and 50% of the overall big move, zigzag upwards, would be just about 20 bucks. If it gets below 20, I don't think it's a buy. It probably needs to turn around pretty quickly and start moving higher. And get up over the volatility dots. And you can see right here, this 2175 is going to be a little bit of an area because we got here on the 18th, the 20th, and again on the 20th. Again, drilling down and drilling up, looking at different time frames. Charts, when you move time frames, charts become extremely clear what's going on. You can train your eyes. Do I trade the first 30 minutes of trade? Sure. Anything after about 5. Especially if you're talking about a day trade or you're talking about earnings trade. I'll use a 5-minute opening range. Go, Chandru, go look at my YouTube page and search for favorite day trade patterns or gaps. And you could try swings, either one of those, but trading gaps. Then I'll talk to you about the 5-minute opening range. Mutar is looking at homie. If you're looking long, we're looking at you're long and wrong because we broke this level right here. I wish I could do that a little bit better than that, so I'm going to draw here. We lost this 845 to 850 level. We're doing a potential for a reversion to the mean up to the volatility dots or so and above this congestion area. And I'm going to call the congestion area basically right there. It's going to run into a lot of resistance there. It's got to get above 950 or so before I'm even interested. This right here, EMAs, bounced, kind of rolled back. There are better charts out here than this. Pfizer, long for the next 3 months. Is there a reason you put a time on it? Chandru? Oh, not Chandru. I skipped over you. Sorry. Trade the chart. And the chart will tell you when it's time to get out, whether it's 3 months or 3 years from now. 38.70 is going to be a little bit of an area along with $40. This is not going to be one of those killer movers. EMAs, we went into a nosedive here in August. This was when the Democrats were all thinking about single payer, attack the drug manufacturers. This is not necessarily the case anymore. However, this is telling me that all ain't well in Pfizer land. There's the downtrend. There's the move back up. It sure looks like a bear flag to me. Overall, if we go to a 3-day chart or a weekly, and you can kind of see it on the weekly. We get over 38.75 or so, okay. I'll get you that one. Twillo. All right, I'm going to put the cross again. It's getting to 9 o'clock. I'm already losing my voice. Twillo. We looked at Twillo for a short. We looked at the Twillo short last week when it gapped down, and this one did more than just a reverse of the mean, although I could see where if it breaks 101, 102, target could be 91. So yes, Twilio. This high volume spike here around 95, 96 could probably be target 1 or somewhere in the middle of this target of 97. See what you're looking at. KS wants to look at Dava. Number one elimination of this stock, and I could tell when I looked at it and saw all the wicks, I immediately went up here and looked at the volume. You don't want to be swing trading these. Pick a stock. Some people will use as low as 250,000. I don't go that low. Mine is trying to look for 500,000 or a million, 570 for 775, 750, something like that. But make sure you get stocks that are up there that trade well. The lower the lower the volume, the higher the spread's probably going to be. You might have 10, 15, or 20 cent spreads, which is causing these, this could have been 1 or 2 trades that went from there to the low. That's all. Because it became very, very wide somewhere in the day. So you don't probably want to be trying to trade those. In fact, my universe of 7,000 tradable symbols is only about 1,500 to 1,600 because it has to have price range over 5, less than 100,000. It has to have an average true range of at least 25 cents, kind of the more the better, although not ridiculous. And average daily volume, I'd like to have it over 1 million, so I'll do 485, and so I don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. But the more the better. If it doesn't meet those 3 criteria, they don't make my list at all. I don't even waste my time looking at them. All right, ZM. Downtrend, round and bottom breakout. I'm going to make this really simple. Wait for the move up, wait for the pullback, and wait for that second buy signal. That's where you're going to make your money on the round and bottom breakout. Now, is it a RBB? Nope, doesn't have 200, but I'll call it a RBB wannabe because it would be up here. Yeah, I can see what you're looking at here. Keep it on your watch list. But something that's on my watch list is not necessarily on my buy list. Bob M wants to look at ALKS, Alkermes. There's the weekly. There's the area weekly. You probably know what I'm going to try to tell you, Bob. We're in a downtrend. Let it change. Is it trying to change? Yes. Has it changed yet? No. Higher highs, higher lows. This is just kind of meandering. YRD short. Well, first of all, it's a $5 stock. I'm not sure if you could borrow it, and I don't think options will be all that good, but they might be. Balance of Power has actually picked up green here while it's been going lower. Don't understand that. I like the pattern. When it broke 6, it's already moved 12.5%. Probably, well, it could go forever low, but I don't know what your plan is here. If you're thinking of shorting and you could actually get stocks, if you could get shares to short, and you really want to do it, wait for a bounce and a move back higher and then a fail. Preferably up to the $6 level. It's kind of late and kind of small dollar-wise. CBS. CBS is another round bottom breakout here. Wait for the second buy signal. Here's our first one. Just because it gets above the 50 and has the distance to the 200 does not make it an RBB in my mind until I see a buy signal, and I want the second buy signal. I'm going to give some up, but what it does is it's proven to be that it's not just a flash in the pan. LW Long. Lamb & Wesson, yep, it was on my list back here. I missed it, and then I dropped it off the watch list, which was bad on me. Didn't think so. You may want to drill down on LW and see what you got here. You've got all this mess overhead. This one actually might be trying to pull back lower. If you went long, your stop's got to be below at least the Friday low, maybe even Thursday low. And you bumped your head up against 84.50. This might be one of those you wait for the breakout, where we've got before. You're welcome, Dolores. And where are we at? Roger wants to look at CME long. Let me grab a swig here. It's just tea. I don't like it until it definitely gets over the 50. I agree with that on that one. Even though it's making higher highs, higher lows, we do have a lot of resistance here around 207.5, 210 or so, possibly. There's the area chart. It did look good back here earlier in the year. Did a pretty deep pullback. You can kind of see that on the weekly chart and on the daily. This one's kind of hard to judge. If I do a 3-day chart, you're going to probably have some resistance at 215. If it gets up there, you could probably have a little bit of money in your pocket, maybe even in the bank. JM wants to look at Nike long. Reports in December 19th. J-Hook in the making. Recovering from the poor balance of power back here in late October. Were these guys being affected by tariffs being put on them in China? Not in the U.S., obviously. At least I don't think so. If you can move up 94.77. If it pulls back to about 93 or so, Risk reward's going to be the killer here. I'm not sure. I would say maybe a breakout above 95. You're welcome, Jay. Sorry to be so long-winded. Just trying to cover everybody, not shortchange anyone. Roku. Roku really recovered from this downturn. I didn't think it would. 169-ish to 170. You can see how we're kind of running out of steam here. Do not have a lot of great balance of power, but price is king. I don't see a long here right now. Denny, you're okay. I would not do Roku long. I think there are better setups out there with reward to risk. That's all it's really about. Johnny Mac, we've already covered AMD. Rick, Micro Squish. Right way options. People are long Microsoft for about 144 and a half to 145. So they got some money in the bank. Looks like we're going sideways, and the next bullish candle move up possibly be another buy. You're welcome, Joe. Milyanko wants to know at Skyworks. I was looking at that last week. It's on my list. And the only thing that keeps it off the list right now is potentially reward to risk. 380. Nah, it looks pretty good. It should probably be on my long list. Copy longs. All right, yep. I like this one. And my first target would be 101.75 and then looking for a breakout above. Do note that balance of power has turned negative there in the pullback. People could be selling into the rally. Boom, 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 boom. Did I skip over a bunch of people? No. Roku we've already covered. Sal. AMD we covered. Microsoft. STT for Mary. This has just been a killer ever since we got the breakout over about 62 and a half. I'm going to have to wait for a pullback, Mary. Anything that resembles there, or there. Or a breakout. Those are your choices. Yep, Raj, the recording will be later tonight. Probably take about an hour. And Steve, you try to sneak a second one in there. Ha ha. You didn't think I'd notice. This is not a long. If you're long this one, you're long and wrong. Because this one's coming down hard off the top. Try to hopefully it bounces for you to give you a way to get out. But we've lost the uptrend here. Can't see it in those because they're 8 days, but we've lost the uptrend. All right, I've already covered back. All right, I think I covered everybody above the line. All right, you guys take care. We will see you next Sunday, and please, $49 for 2 months. Come and try us. Especially since we've got the holidays coming, you can come in if you're working. And you can't get into the room, that might be a time you can come and sit in the room for a half a day and learn a lot. And you learn a lot in any day. All right. You guys have a good week and have a happy Thanksgiving. God bless. Bye-bye.